You are now tuned in to the Gahhd Season 4, baby. The Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. Press play, fam.
Rest in peace, Prodigy.
Bandana P.
Shout out Havoc. Shout out Queensbridge. Word. Q Burrow. Rest in peace, Twin also.
My D niggas.
I wanted to play this remix, but shit is not available online on the YouTube. Only the instrumental.
Wow.
So I wrote a verse to it. Here we go.
Oh shit. Damn, he laughing too hard over there, yo.
Season 4.
Welcome world, welcome world. Let the beat rock a little, brother. Shout out to Nas, shout out Raekwon, shout out Ghostface. Rest in peace, Prodigy. Shout out Havoc. This is the Eye for an Eye remix.
Wow. Shout out to Trackmasters who did Shootouts, which was the original.
The original Eye for an Eye?
The original, they took this sample and made the beat for Shootouts on the Nas album. It was written.
Oh, that's why it sounds
Yeah, Shootouts, similar to Wild West. Broad daylight, face to face without a vest. That. Hey, I think they flipped it better though. No
I like,
disrespect.
I wish we could have played the song. Everyone except Nas actually drops a new verse. Which I thought was dope.
Nice.
Fuego.
Welcome world, season 4 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. I am the brother Burnz. As always, to the left of me, I got the brother VS.
VS to the OPLBEMDMA all day.
On the check-in, we got International Blood.
Yeah, season 4. Yo, I thought by now we'd definitely get pulled off the airwaves and shit by some censorship or something.
Nah, they're not gonna cancel Blood.
Word out. We still holding strong, baby.
Absolutely. Shout out to that. Shout out to everybody who's been listening. Shout out to everybody who's shared, who's told a friend, who's reposted, dropped a comment. Shout out DJ Tone. He just dropped some dope comments on YouTube. We got to go back and forth a little. That was cool.
Okay.
Shout out, as always, to the brother F and Straight Fuego Studios. Make sure you're following at Burnz711 for all your studio needs and video needs as well.
Get that crystal clear file for the earlobe penetration.
Make sure you're following at GAHHD_podcast. Make sure you're following at TheReal_BS. That's a Twitter exclusive. Make sure you're following at Deadass_worldwide. Make sure you're following at Last Breath Entertainment. And make sure you're following at CallMe_Joseph_.
Excellent.
Big facts.
New for season 4, we want some fan input. We want some listener input. So if you guys have any ideas for debates that you would like to hear, any ideas for future shows that you might want to hear, send all suggestions to GAHHDpodcast@gmail.com. That's GAHHDpodcast@gmail.com. If y'all got show ideas, if y'all got some debate ideas, if y'all want to be a part of a debate, I'm always down to shit on people. Holla at your boy.
Hey.
Big shout out to our new social media marketing manager, Miss 711, the homie Dolly. Shout out to her.
00711.
Yeah, la mia.
Correct. What did I say? Miss 711?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. No 711. Shout out to 711 though. They hold me down over there.
They fucking mad expensive though. What's wrong with them niggas?
I don't know. I got a free muffin every time I get a coffee.
Hey, free muffin. This guy.
The Cuddle God.
Shout out to the Cuddle God.
There's only one Cuddle God.
Email the Cuddle God for,
Cuddle sessions?
Cuddle stiff.
Or your muffin needs.
Today we said I butter muffins.
Hey. What? Yo.
Today we celebrate the 18-year anniversary of Jay-Z's The Black Album.
Yeah. Wow, 18 years.
18 years, The Black Album.
Like it came out yesterday. That's a dope
Classic album.
I agree. I fuck with that album very much. It does have skips. I'm not gonna give it a
what
5
song
mic.
you skip?
The Eminem produced song.
Moment of Clarity.
Yeah, and
that's a good song though.
And sometimes Threat.
I like Threat.
And isn't there like Madonna, Justify My Love?
Justify My Thug.
Definite skip. Justify My skip.
The Threat, you know the story behind Threat?
Yeah, Ninth Wonder came to produce it, and they sampled R. Kelly, which I think is dope.
That Jay-Z just handed it to CDs, like, yo, flip this.
Yeah, and he did it on Fruity Loops.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Shout out on Ninth
I
Wonder.
think he might be throwing some subliminals at some folks on that shit.
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
Hell yeah. That was supposed to be his retirement album. He definitely had some shots to send.
Yeah, parting shots.
Also, 18 years ago, G Unit released "Beg for Mercy," their first unit album.
Yeah.
G Unit, they'll always be like a what if or like a could have been more.
Well, because
You
a
know
large
what I mean?
part of it, like 90% of it, was 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? And I mean,
But he
go ahead.
His crew or his unit had potential to be and were multi-platinum stars on their own.
Right. They just couldn't sustain.
He just
You know what's funny? I was just thinking about this yesterday. I was listening, I guess, to like an Ashanti track or Murder Inc. something, and I'm like, damn, like I remember when 50 was hyping up Olivia, and she didn't do half the shit Ashanti did, and just all the other role players that would have been on that squad that had so much potential and didn't do jack shit. It's just sad, bro.
Yeah, remember they had Mobb Deep later. They had MOP later. Mace Murder.
They had Mace Murder.
Not including just those established artists. I just mean people that he put on directly.
Yeah. Even with just the core of Lloyd Banks, Game, Buck, and Olivia, and Yayo.
And Yayo,
minus Olivia, because I don't think, to me, she never really fit in, and I never saw 50 as having the executive experience to market an R&B diva at that time.
Yeah, right.
But that's what's funny, because he does have like R&B tendencies, with melodic songs, and definitely could have had like a couple of superstar producers work with her, and her even singing on a couple of hooks, it would have worked, I think.
Yeah, but it's like Burnz said, it's a different story when you're doing it for your album, and now you're doing it for a full-fledged R&B act that is also just happens to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no, I mean, even just the fact for a single, I don't remember her even having a breakout single or them together at all. It's just strange.
Just Candy Shop. He had her on Candy Shop, which was his single.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also 50 didn't have an Earth, which is what I think was missing from him.
Yeah.
That would have allowed him to focus on artistry, and someone else could have done all the executive stuff and got those other artists a little further with their careers.
Facts.
Very true.
And then 50 just blew up so fast and had so much shit going on. And, he wasn't too far removed from his shooting. So I'm sure he still had PTSD and trauma and trust issues and shit.
Yeah.
So, the Game thing happened fast. Whatever happened with, what's my man's name? Young Buck. All that weird stuff that happened between them.
Yeah. That was the artist that I think had potential. He had a good album.
I think he went platinum. I think his first album
I
went
think
platinum.
all of them went platinum eventually.
Even Yayo went platinum.
Yayo, he went platinum off the strength of a single.
A big single.
Yeah, but
also off the strength of the unit
everything,
and 50.
Yeah, prior to that.
Yeah, so he had the luck of the snowball effect. Right. But
how many songs was Yayo on Beg for Mercy? Because when Beg for Mercy came out, was he out yet or not?
Yeah, he was out.
No, he might have been in.
Yeah, I think he was. I remember the album, and I don't remember him on
I think
a lot
he
of
was
songs.
on the next one, the Terminate on Sight.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean in the box you're talking about?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. He didn't have his freedom.
Yeah, he wasn't free yet.
So I don't know. To me, they'll always
be a big what if.
For as successful as they were producing, every artist became a platinum selling artist.
Right.
I just think they could have did way more. Like if Game
longer.
would have stayed with 50, he would have been a bigger artist to this day, I believe.
Right.
Banks, the thing with Banks is if you do your homework, he was like a tough artist Like he didn't want to do shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He was happy just dropping a verse and calling it a day.
Exactly. Yeah, he didn't want to do all the other shit.
And Yayo wasn't really an artist. Period.
Nah,
he was just
dude.
a fucking thug that got to hang out.
Yeah. That just he got so how to rap. Real quick.
But you know, Buck could have did big.
Buck
He did
dope,
big, but he could have been bigger.
Right.
You know, he would have had a big South artist in Buck, and then he would have had a big West artist.
Look at the wave that came right after.
Exactly. And then he would have had himself in New York. So they would have kind of had the whole country on lock, which no one's ever really done.
Right. Have all regions on lock.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays where everything is the same now. So
so this was before then.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, it had potential to be something we had never seen before. Right. And 50 was something we had never seen before though. You know, I'm not underplaying him and his run.
Right.
But he could have taken that run and multiplied it times 3 or 4 if he could have figured out what to do with Olivia. And then he signed established artists. You know, Mobb Deep still had some juice in him. MOP still had some juice in him. Mace was returning to the Murder Mace form, so he could have got at least an album out
like
of
they
him.
could have built off that.
I think Mobb Deep went platinum for the first time on the G Unit Records, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably that's how that was a big machine at the time, and then they could have branched off into you know everything else they did. Books, they could have all had books and shows and shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But you know what's funny?
Just always be like unfulfilled potential.
You can't have your team have the same kind of energy and the same kind of motivation and ambition that you do. Like 50 Cent is a different species. Like he's in the same lane as Jay-Z. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen the interview where Jay-Z even talks about 50 Cent, his ascension.
Yeah.
And he tells his team, like, y'all better start dropping now, because when 50 Cent gets his game on lock, ain't gonna be no room for none of y'all. And that's exactly what happened within like 6 months.
Yeah. Right. And Irv had a similar reaction when he heard in the club for the first time, and he pretty much told Murdering, buckle up, because we in for a long ass ride.
Word. Yeah, exactly. And the numbers it did and all that shit. Yep.
But 50 didn't necessarily need everyone to equal his motivation. If they would have been 50% as motivated as him, they would have had way better careers than they actually had. And I'm not trying to shit on them. I'm not trying to shit on anybody from the unit. They all had careers that they could be proud of and should be proud of. Just potentially they could have fulfilled bigger more, yeah. And I mean that could have been a dominant label, you know, to this day.
True indeed. Yeah, they could have been signing new acts, all these young cats.
Yeah. But
what if
Destiny is pre-written, so they are exactly where they should be.
Facts.
Yeah, man.
Moving on. A new Versus has been announced. I didn't hear about it. I just found out about it 2 minutes ago. And apparently it's Bone Thugs versus 3-6.
Yeah, man.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to ask y'all's immediate opinion, with minimal.
All right.
Just, without going back and doing so much research, who do y'all prefer, or who do y'all think will be more successful in the Versus?
In the Versus, I think 3-6 got this. I think they're one of the most, especially for what's going on today, they're one of the most influential groups of all time. Especially, like I said, going with everything that's going on today. All the music that's going on today, they pretty much, you could trace it all back to them. Okay. With the sound that's happening today. So, and they're good performers. I've never heard them perform whack. I've never seen a 3-6 performance, but I've never heard that they were whack performers. Their shows were always pretty live and shit. So that's my opinion.
I could dig it. Blood?
That's a good take. I think it's pretty much even when it comes to hits, because I could go back in my mind and I think about a lot of the hits that 3-6 has had and a lot of the things that they did. But also, Bone Thugs has a lot of hits, man, like slept on hits, man, like not just shit that we can remember in our immediate, rear view, but just a myriad of other things. Like, they had that Ecstasy song. I remember that shit was big. They had the Weed song. So a lot of songs that
you just brought back a forgotten memory. The Bone
Thugs
Ecstasy song.
The Ecstasy song was big, bro. The Ecstasy song was big. Yo, but even bigger than the ecstasy song, I think is the weed song, man. You listen to that weed song, and that shit just like it makes you like want to get a blunt right then and there.
That was on the first album, right? The weed song.
99 and East
Yeah.
See, I remember the weed song, but for some reason I had forgotten the E song.
Street name.
And now that you mentioned it,
He's gonna
I
go
remembered it.
He's gonna listen to it on the way home.
Yeah, that was a joint.
That E song was the shit, man. So they were both revolutionary in their own right. Although I think 3-6 asserted their dominance more in their market. You know what I'm saying? They were more of an independent situation, and they blew up. They got the Grammy and so on and so forth. But don't sleep on.
They got an Oscar too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so just from Oscar, all right. So who do you think is gonna win? 3-6?
I think 3-6. I predict 3-6.
3-6 might win, man. They got real big hits, bro. They got
from a
crossover.
Fan perspective, without thinking about who has accomplished what and who has more hits. Who do you guys prefer?
I am a 3-6 fan.
Blood?
I prefer Bone Thugs.
Oh, okay.
All right, I prefer 3-6. My boy Mike, shout out to my brother Mike Macon out in the Bay in California. When we were in Oklahoma doing our Army thing, he put me on to 3-6, and it was the Chapter 2 World Domination album, and I still listen to that shit to this day.
Right.
And there are Bone Thugs songs that I love. Thuggish Ruggish Bone got to be in my top fucking 10 songs ever made.
First of the month.
But 3-6 for some reason, I'm a bigger fan of 3-6. I went back and listened to their stuff. I would listen to their new stuff, and also they were doing their own production.
Right.
They were their own production and
team,
DJ Paul handled production.
Right. Juicy J.
I wonder for this versus if it'll be just Juicy J and DJ Paul, or will they bring back Gangsta Boo and Crunchy Black and rest in peace to Lord Infamous. That's DJ Paul's brother.
Yeah.
And shout out to Lord Infamous because he actually invented what is commonly referred to as the Migos flow. It is not the Migos flow. If you go back to 1994,
that's what I'm saying. They're the ones that invented all that shit.
Yeah. So me personally, as a fan, and as a fan, I'm 3-6 all the way. As a commentator or,
objective observer.
Yeah, using the knowledge of the business that I have, I think it's a really close match because Bone Thugs, if I'm not mistaken, outsold 3-6 Mafia by a lot.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken.
Wow,
I could be wrong.
That's something we got to look into.
Remember, they had big songs.
No, yeah. I mean, Crossroads, of course,
was a huge song.
It was a song it was a single, that, first of all, obviously the music, the shelf life of music was longer, but still, it outlasted
it was number one for 6 weeks.
Yeah, it outlasted what it should have done.
It might have gone diamond, yo.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't doubt that.
I don't think anything 3-6 related has gone diamond or near diamond. In fact, I'm willing to bet they have maybe 5 platinum albums out of, I don't know, they've released 40 albums.
Yeah.
I do like that they both had they both branched off. So Bone Thugs had Mo Thugs.
Yeah.
And they had
Flesh and Bone.
Yeah, they had a whole roster.
Yeah.
And then 3-6 branched off and they had their independent they had their solo artists, and then they had groups within the group.
Project Pat.
They also had Project Pat. So they've got classics and they've got hits and they sold and they influenced both. I'm speaking of both. So I think it'll be really interesting. And they actually had beef back in the day. They would diss each other.
For real?
No shit.
Yeah, super Twister was involved.
Really?
Who's he riding with? Bone Thugs?
Yeah, obviously Midwest.
Yeah, no. Twister was kind of alone.
Oh, he was beefing
he was also beefing with Bone Thugs.
Oh,
and then Bone Thugs and 3-6 were beefing. And then many years down the line, Lazy Bone and Twister did an album together called Midwest Riders or something. And that was the end of that beef. But I don't know if these guys ever squashed it or time just passed.
Yeah.
But these two crews definitely had beef back in the day.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And if you look up, like, they definitely shot at each other, vocally, lyrically.
I will say this about 3-6, that they have that down south Texas sound, so it booms, you know. So when you do like a versus battle, it might make a difference in terms of like the up tempo music. You know, it'll make a difference. But I think that with 3-6 Mafia, with the Midwest, like Bone Thugs, they get slept on a lot. So their music is a lot, you know, more slowed down, and there's more like rider music. It gets slept on a lot. Their first 3 singles, like you mentioned, Crossroads, Thuggish Ruggish Bone, and The First of the Month, I think those are songs that will just be forever cemented in hip hop. Just, I don't think there's any song that 3-6 has that can touch those singles.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You know, does anyone know where it's happening at? Where is this versus occurring?
I gotta find out.
Has to happen on neutral ground.
It's got to be down south somewhere, or you know, something. New York wouldn't be good for this. New York is not gonna appreciate this 100%.
Nah, like Texas,
LA maybe.
Texas
maybe. But to retort you, Brother Blood, Tear the Club Up was a big song. Not necessarily a big national radio hit, but it's like an underground classic. So if any song is going to combat Bone Thugs' bigger songs and have a fighting chance, you know, because it's still not as big as Bone Thugs' biggest songs. But in a versus environment, if you play Crossroads and you play Tear the Club Up,
nah.
Tear the Club is gonna tear it up.
Tear the Club Up, yeah, it's gonna win.
Sipping on some scissor.
Nah, they got a bunch.
Stay Fly.
Scissor. Yeah, man.
So they had a couple hits, you know.
Spinners, riding spinners.
Yeah, they blew up later, you know, later in their careers and shit. But those underground classics, those
B cuts.
Especially that album, that chapter 2. They got the Motivation. The Motivated. Every time I hear this shit, I'm motivated. That is my shit. And they got Late Night Tip, which is a fucking classic. Man. That is my shit. Like I said, they got Tear the Club Up. They got a song, I Ain't Your Friend. That's my shit. Like,
3-6 got some hits, bro.
3-6 got hits, yeah. Bone Thugs does too. I just have a harder time recalling Bone Thugs hits. So obviously we know those 3: Thuggish Ruggish, First of the Month, The Crossroad. They got the song with Biggie. They got the song with Biggie
Tupac. And Pac.
Yeah.
So that's
Biggie
5. But after that 5, like,
you're talking about 15 other songs they got to come up with.
Yeah, I can't really offhand think of like, I don't even remember any other singles from other albums and shit. I know what's the Bone, the light skin Bone?
Busy Bone.
Busy Bone had like When Thugs Cry, like a Prince remake.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Crazy Bone had that big song with Chameleonaire.
Yeah. But
and other than that, I'd be hard pressed to name 20. Personally, personally, I'm sure there's people out there that could ring you off 40.
Yeah,
exactly. But me personally, I'm stuck at around 7.
7, yeah, exactly.
And I can't name you 3-6 Mafia songs either, if I'm being honest. True, but I can name you more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
that's a fact.
I look forward to it. I think that'll be a dope one. I'm glad they're stepping away from New York for a second. I feel like we've been very New York battle-centric.
Yeah, saturated.
And we need a little bit of a break. And also, these are just two crews that
iconic
I personally enjoy. Yeah. 2 legends in hip-hop. So shout out to 3-6 Mafia. Shout out Juicy J, DJ Paul. They both started as DJs. I'll always appreciate that. Shout out to Bone Thugs. If for nothing else, them fuckers bought a one-way ticket to LA and made it a mission to meet Eazy-E.
That's just crazy.
Did not meet him, and actually went home and met him at a show in Cleveland and got put on. So
it got signed before he passed away.
Shout out to that fucking that hustle, that determination. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's it for current events.
I had something, you know, the fact that you brought up Bone Thugs real quick. I don't know if y'all heard, but Crazy Bone was talking about a while back, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He was talking about an industry meeting where he got some inside information about some industry folks that met. And this was years ago, this meeting. And the point of the meeting was for the industry heads and their executives to devised a plan where they were going to take hip hop and make it as destructive as possible in terms of, you know, the messages that were being put out there, so that it could perpetuate crime within the African American and Latino communities, and that way they can you know, have more privatized jails and more numbers, like running up the numbers with like the privatized jails, because that's what they started to do. That they basically brought in these folks that were gonna, you know, start up these privatized institutions and these jails, and in order to keep those numbers, in order to keep that as a business,
as a sustainable business,
as a sustainable business, they were gonna go ahead and put out subliminal messages within music, within hip hop music. And it's all over, you know, social media. You see Crazy Bone talking about it. He got some info on it. And recently, you know, we know that Kanye was on Drink Champs with Nori and DJ Effin, and he addressed a whole slew of different topics and things. And it's dope because you see like a lot of different quotables and shit that he brings up, you know, like him talking about Jay-Z and everything else. But I find it interesting. One of the topics was that he says his Donda album has no curses in it. And I didn't know that. I you know, I had no idea that. I could have sworn I heard a curse or two here and there, but I didn't know that he did that on purpose. And he says it in the interview. He's like, yeah, so if y'all ever listen to that Crazy Bone interview talking about the industry, we don't want to perpetuate that. We want to make sure that we can put music out there that's still clean, and, you know, we don't have to, you know, have curses or any of those messages out there. And I thought that was pretty dope.
And that's one of the reasons why he took that song off with Andre 3000, because he curses on that song. Kanye actually curses on that.
There you go. Yeah.
And that's why he took it off.
And that's a dope song. Wow. That's probably the dopest song.
Yeah, which he mentions during the interview anyway.
Yeah, so I just thought that was dope.
To touch on what you said, if that is true, and I don't doubt it being true, because the music industry and whoever's pulling the strings, it would seem that that plan was very true and also put into effect. And I think it's at its highest.
It's at its peak.
Right now. Right now, it is at its highest peak. If you listen to drill music, perfect example. It's all violence. It's all murder. It's all killing and then self-snitching. A lot of rappers are being locked up. A lot of RICO charges are coming up. Casanova just got charged with a RICO charge. Pooh Shiesty just pleaded guilty to something and could see 5 to 10 years. There's just a gang of rappers being locked up. There's a gang of RICO charges being administered to rappers and their crews. And for example, a very specific example. Last night, for some reason, I was on YouTube and I went down a rabbit hole of Bronx drill. And there's an artist named K Flock, young kid. God bless him. He's got to be 18, 19, 20 years old. I don't know. He looks like he weighs 100 pounds, and he kind of almost looks like a girl sometimes. Whatever, don't shoot me. But his lyrics and everything surrounding him, he just got into a big brawl at Rolling Loud. His crew versus another crew from the Bronx. Fist fight at Rolling Loud in front of police, and, you know, just crazy shit. And it's like, if there is a community or a society whose plan was to infiltrate rap, eliminate all the conscious rappers, eliminate all the educational pro-black movement that was happening in the late 80s, dead that shit, make it violent, make it non-educational, dumb it down, make it repetitive, make it evil even. They succeeded, yo. They succeeded. I don't know if y'all are hip to what happened at the Cactus Jack Travis Scott, whatever the fuck, Astroland concert where 8 or 10 or 20 people died.
Oh, yeah. We addressed that at the end of last episode where they got trampled and just some craziness at the concert. It was bananas.
So now that we've had some time, conspiracy theorists went back and looked at symbolism used to market the
open mouth,
the concert with a lot of Illuminati,
satanic,
lot of satanic symbolism,
references. Right?
I saw that.
Even
Stage
during
looked
the
like
concert,
an upside down cross.
Yeah. Even during the concert,
the shirt he had on.
Yeah, behind him it said "See you on the other side." Just a bunch of very peculiar things, and a lot of people who made it out of there said that even walking in, there was just a real dark energy in the whole area, in the whole vicinity.
Right.
So, I believe Crazy Bone saw something or heard something.
Well, he was invited to this meeting.
Whatever it was, he got some information that maybe wasn't supposed to be shared, and he shared it, and whatever plan they had has come to fruition today, for sure.
Yeah, it took place in the mid-90s.
Absolutely.
Like in 94,
and,
95.
Shout out to Kanye for mentioning it, being that he's one of the, if not, Drake is the king of the world, but Kanye's probably number 2 biggest artist in the world. Yeah. So for him to mention that,
one of the most influential artists, if not of our lifetime, like
of all time. Yeah, of all time.
Yeah.
For him to mention that in an interview that is going to be seen by millions of people, because part 1 of the interview racked up 6 million views in a week.
Well, he keeps.
That's very brave.
Well, he kept saying it that he's gonna wind up dead. You know what I'm saying? So don't be surprised.
That's very brave. And while we're on the topic of the Kanye interview, we never did a deep dive, and I don't think we need to because everybody has heard it. I had a hot take before our Live at the Barbecue episode. The Live at the Barbecue episode was actually the reason I didn't give my hot take. I love Nori. Let me start with love. I love Nori. Nice. I love Nori.
Where?
Had my daughter been born a boy, her name would have been Noriega Arzuaga. Nori was my I swear, this is honest to God truth. Her mom knew the baby was coming. The doctor said it was a boy for 9 months, and we were going to name her Noriega. My decision, my favorite rapper at the time. I love Nori.
Right.
I'm super proud of the transition he made to podcasting. I think it's very inspirational. I think it's super hip-hop. I love that he's had success. I wish him continued success. I heard he might interview Dave Chappelle next.
I heard,
That's dope. Yeah. Much props, much congrats. Big for hip-hop, big for you, big for Queens, big for Boricuas, everything.
Big for the culture.
My hot take had to do with part 1 of the interview where I felt Nori was acting extra dumb. My opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe he really is that dumb. I don't fucking know. Normally on the show, he talks about how he was in special ed and he wrote the short bus. I get it. It's part of the shtick.
Yeah.
But I felt that with Kanye, he was acting a little extra dumb. And that, I don't want to say it bothered me. It didn't make me want to continue listening to the interview. And I really wanted to listen to the interview.
Right.
But Nori I just felt like he was acting dumb. And for some reason, the whole interview, all I hear is Nas's voice saying, Nori, step your bars up.
Yeah.
So I, as the brother Burnz, who is nobody and nowhere near Nori's level, and again, I admire and I have massive love for Nori. But step your fucking bars up, bro. You got the biggest interview in the world. Right. In hip-hop, 6 million views in a week. It's Kanye.
Yeah.
You're acting dumber than normal. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe he was starstruck.
Maybe.
That could be
You're cutting off shit I want to hear. Kanye's trying to make a point, and you're coming in with a dumbass question.
Right.
And every show, the last hour, I don't want to hear it because by then you're drunk and you're slurring and you're annoying.
And high as shit.
My opinion and my personal hot take. These feelings are not shared by the brother VS, nor the brother Blood, nor the brother F, nor Straight Fuego Studios, Black Gun Entertainment, or the GHD podcast. This is just me and my opinion. Nori, I love you. Step your fucking interview game up.
Could it just have been that he was trying to make it as lighthearted as possible? Where
That's what I said.
It could have been a plethora of things. Yeah. I'm giving you how I saw it and how it made me feel. He could have been starstruck. Kanye could be his best friend and they was goofing around. He could have been extra high. The reason I didn't give my hot take last episode, and I think I told this story, but we went to the live at the barbecue. I was in pain. I self-medicated, and then I was dumb. I was probably dumber than Nori, so I couldn't.
Maybe that nigga took the same edible you did.
Maybe he did. I hear you, brother.
Oh man, he took that same edible.
Maybe he did, but you know what it is? I would probably give up 2 fingers to have Kanye come up here and sit with us.
Yeah,
and. If he goes on a Kanye rant, he might talk for an hour without me interrupting him because A, I know he's a ranter. B, I know he's long-winded. And C, I want to hear what the fuck he has to say. So I'm not necessarily going to cut him off with some dumb shit. And there was a very... In part 1 of the interview, there was a question Nori asked as Kanye was talking. He cut him off. It was a dumb question. It threw Kanye West's train of thought off. And I had written it down in my other notebook because I wanted to very specifically point that out. Like, yo, why would you even ask this dumbass question while he's going in on some important shit? But I don't have my other notebook. Shout out to Killer Season. He has it. He picked it up for me because I left it on the table because I took an edible and I was too zooted. So maybe Nori took an edible. I don't know. But... shout out to Nori. You know, like I said, Nas voice in my brain just repeating.
I agree. I agree with cutting people off because sometimes they'll never get back to what they were gonna get to. You know, originally, when you interrupt somebody's trail of thought, and especially somebody like Kanye, that they're like, he's a fine line between like genius and crazy. You know what I mean?
He interrupts his own train of thought. About 5 times a sentence.
Exactly. So you gotta let him do his thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. He what was I gonna say? He was cutting him off. He acted dumb as fuck, saying that he didn't know that he produced Takeover.
Yes, that was embarrassing for the culture. And then Kanye was using another word. Kanye was explaining something, and he used a word that Nori didn't know. However, if you used context clues, you would have been able to decipher exactly what he was saying. But either he really didn't know what the word was, he wasn't trying to know it, or again, he was playing dumb. Which, if that's what you were doing, it just doesn't look good. You know this. A lot of people are going to see this interview, and hip hop and non-hip hop, and why do we always have to carry ourselves as hood and hood equaling dumb or not as smart? Why can't we be well spoken? Why can't we hold a terrific 2-hour conversation where we don't play the dummy role or the dunce role? Nori's not a dumb guy. Yeah, he probably did go to special ed as a kid. He probably did ride the short bus. That doesn't mean you're dumb. That means you know, maybe you had a learning deficit. Maybe the teacher didn't recognize a mental illness because it wasn't in fad back then. I don't know.
Saying he's mentally ill,
but learning disorders are mental illness. You know, dyslexia, shit like that. Yeah. He says he has dyslexia all the time. But if a teacher didn't recognize that, they would have never treated it, and they would have put him in a dumb class thinking he's dumb when it's not that he's dumb. He just has this disorder. Yeah. But to play it up, corny. That's it. I can't really say nothing else. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not throwing shots at Nori.
Not at all.
Step it up. Nas voice again. Step your bars up. That's it. Well, if you haven't gone and seen that interview, though, go check it out. Kanye West talks a lot of dope shit. Explains a lot of shit. Shoots some shots at some people that I wasn't expecting.
What I liked is that he said, one of the things that I love that he says, I don't do subliminals. I do directs. If I'm going to say something about somebody, I'm going to say who it is, and that's it.
Yeah. And I like what he said about Big Sean and John Legend. I agree with him 100%. He put those guys on. He made them millionaires. He made them superstars. Yeah. And when he went and did something, they basically went and shitted on him for doing it.
Yeah.
You know, if we're homies and we're friends, you won't agree with everything I do.
But exactly.
But you don't call me out in public on it, and you don't try to make me look foolish for doing it, especially if it is to appease the white man or whatever political party or whatever.
It's because everybody else is
you
doing
pull
it.
me to the side and talk to me. You my man. You talk to me the same thing I would do for you.
Yeah, no.
So I agree with him 100%. I didn't really agree with him shitting on Quelly. But if he don't like Quelly, then he don't like Quelly. What the fuck? You don't gotta like everybody just because you work with somebody. Don't mean you like them. Right. I don't like these fuckers. I'm going solo, 2022. But we here.
What?
No. Yo, Strong J, fuck out of here.
Yeah, for real. Yo.
Nah, but speaking of Kanye, that actually brings us to today's debate.
Yes, sir.
Where we are going to be discussing producers/rappers or rappers/producers. I always like to ask producer rappers what their first passion was and what led them to become both. Right. David Banner is a producer rapper, and I remember his explanation was he grew up in Mississippi and he wanted to rap. He's in the middle of Mississippi. Nobody fucking making no beats. So what options does he have? This is pre-YouTube and pre-social media. So he went and bought a machine and made his own damn beats, and then he blew up, and then he made beats for other people, and he rapped. So sometimes your circumstances force you to become more than you are. And I would have liked to ask, and better wording, I will ask some of these people on these lists these questions one day, because
they're going to be up
I'm
here.
finna knock Nori out the box. That's right. So, with that being said, top 3 producer rappers. Who wants to go first? And we are not going to repeat. So if you hear one of your choices on someone else's list, please replace your choice. You can tell us that it was a replacement, but let's try not to repeat. So whoever wants to go first can go first.
Why don't you go first, Tampa Blood?
All right, let's go. So I told y'all originally who I thought was my top 3. I'm gonna make a change.
Oh, here we go.
Right? I'm gonna make a change to my number 3.
Okay.
Right?
There's a specific order then with you.
Okay.
I don't believe it's gonna affect y'all's final outcome though.
Right.
Okay.
And we'll have some honorable mentions before we give out our number 1s also.
True.
All right, bet. So my number 3, top 3 rapper producer, Gahhd season 4 is gonna be the one and only infamous Havoc.
Great selection.
The HAVOC.
I have Havoc in honorable mentions, and he was the reason we started the show off with the Mobb Deep Eye for an Eye remix. I always thought that remix was dope. I always thought Havoc was underappreciated as both a producer and as a rapper.
But more so as a rapper.
Totally agree.
Yeah. But as a producer, I always thought he should have branched out more.
Instead of just working with his immediate circle?
Yeah. I think that that would have, obviously made him more successful, made him more popular, made him more well-known. When he produced for Biggie, that was, that
was big.
Big look for him and a dope thing. And again, rest in peace to Prodigy. He said he was invited to get on that song. He didn't get on it for whatever reason, and then later down the line, he regretted not getting on it. So,
last days, right?
True.
Yeah,
I would have regretted that shit too.
Hell yeah. Any favorite Havoc productions besides the obvious?
It's just funny that you bring up the fact that he was never kind of like broke out, because I think he kind of fell into a box after a while with kind of like the same sounding type of beats, same type of drum pattern and sounds and samples. His original breakout hits were so much different, I think, in my opinion, like Shook Ones Part 2. You know what I mean? That's gotta be like my favorite Havoc track, you know what I mean? And
Shook Ones for real?
Shook Ones is one of the hottest tracks of all time, bro.
I don't get me wrong. I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying I'm surprised you would have picked one that's so popular.
Well, again, what I'm trying to say is that a beat that like that I thought was different than what he kind of fell into. Because if I'm not mistaken, that's the one that has the gas burner as like the
clicking sound,
the hi-hats.
The hi-hats, yeah.
Yeah.
And also remember that song only became popular because it was different and so like new
Yeah, like
it
just
did
weed
sound.
sounding.
It sounded totally different than everything that was out at that time. You know what I'm saying? When he came out with that sample, which is a really slow down.
With those samples, there was about 3 or 4 samples in there.
Yeah.
There was a movie sample playing, the stovetop, the actual sample,
The core sample, yeah.
Yeah.
So he had about 4 or 5 samples going at once.
And the video all plays into even the beat itself. It's just crazy. It's just a crazy song all around. I think Mobb Deep got that off. I think Havoc really, really got that off. And then I really, really like when he would go into like his group productions, like with Noid, like when they would bring in the rapper Noid. He got this one track on the Hoodlum soundtrack.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, I know what song you're talking about. That shit is fire. With him, it's Have, and it's actually the 3 of them: Have, Prodigy, and Rapper Noid.
And Noid, yeah.
I know what song you're talking about.
And just everything off of Hell on Earth, everything off of Murder Music. Like, come on, man, that dude is heavily slept on, bro.
Yeah.
Drop a Gem on him might be my favorite. Have production.
Really? That's a good
Drop
one.
a Gem on him. Godfather 3.
Godfather Part 3.
Eye for an Eye.
Yeah.
What's
Survival of the Fittest?
Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah. That's one of my
Also,
favorites.
A Quiet Storm.
Quiet Storm.
Quiet
How
Storm.
many people haven't murdered that beat?
I don't know if he produced it, but Mobb Deep was featured on a Mariah song called The Rooftop, which also sampled Shook Ones, or the same sample Shook Ones used.
I know what you're talking
Yes.
about.
I don't know if Havoc did it, but they were on it rapping, and
Yeah.
I always thought that was a dope.
That
clip.
shit's fire.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, Havoc is a great choice. Legendary New York producer.
Very distinct sound.
Again, I wish he had done maybe something more along the lines what Alchemist did with like a compilation album or producing whole albums for other artists. However, he is producing a whole album for an artist coming up.
He did that already.
Who did he do it with?
Flea Lord. He produced In the Name of Prodigy, which is completely produced by Havoc,
All right.
and it's off Flea
He's
Lord
got
project.
another one coming out with someone else. I don't recall who. A
Flea Lord's nasty.
more established name. No shots to Flea Lord, but a more established, I believe, '90s rapper.
Oh, really?
That's dope.
I don't know.
And
it
then
might be Cormega, yo.
really?
I have to
I
look.
think you're
I
right.
saw it
I think
on
you're
Twitter.
right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Cormega.
Yeah, it's
Me
either
and Jason-
Cormega or Nature.
And I think it's Cormega. Me and Jason were talking about this earlier.
I hope it's Nature.
Fuck out of here. That's just gonna be fucking triple fucking wood.
nah, I'm
It was
joking.
nature.
Nah, I think it's Cormega though. I think
I
Havoc
think
is
you're
producing a whole album for Cormega, and if
Yeah.
that is the case, I look forward to that.
No doubt.
So
Yeah,
shout out to
and-
Havoc and great choice.
Great choice.
If I'm not mistaken, he was working on his solo album, and I don't know if it ever came out.
It did.
Havoc has a solo.
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Havoc
called
has a
13.
solo album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just the track that he had on there, the illest, that he slept on in terms of, I think, rhyming, because his style is just so gutter. You know what I mean? And I always thought every time he was rhyming that it was actually a hook. And I'm like, no, this is his verse. It's just strange.
It's his
The,
voice
the
and his
output,
tone.
Yeah, he's very monotonous.
And also remember, he
Exactly.
was standing next to one of the greatest rappers that we ever saw, and
Facts.
what was considered the greatest rapper alive for a 1 to 2 year window,
Word.
even by
Absolutely.
Jay-Z. So it's like
Exactly.
it's hard to.
Outshine that guy.
Yeah, you can be great,
Yeah.
but if you're next to Michael Jordan, your greatness looks mediocre as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Scottie Pippen. Facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as someone akin to Michael Jordan, I get it. It's hard for others, but you play for the team.
Nice round mics like I was Scott Pippen.
Yo, you Steve Kerr, right, Huff?
And you motherfucking Bill Cartwright, fool. Get out of here with your broken self.
Bro, I might be
wait
Michael
till he
Jordan. Of the three of us, I might be
Mira,
Michael
brother.
Jordan, bro.
Please. Bill Cartwright
Come on, man.
with your broken ass.
Y'all, come on, man. Y'all gotta recognize my greatness while I'm here.
True that. Bill Wennington.
And Havoc also made one of my favorite Nas songs, Shoot 'Em Up. I love that beat.
Oof.
I could dig it.
You got that song you like off the Foxy album, The Promise?
Yep.
That was a Havoc
Possibly my favorite song on the album.
beat. Nice.
Ain't he
He's
do
on the
shootouts
song
that
too,
we were just
right?
talking about?
What's that?
Is he on the song?
I think he does the hook.
I think so too.
Yeah, he does the hook.
Yeah.
Havoc. Yeah, did he do shootouts that we was just talking about too?
That was the Trackmasters.
Okay, well he got another track on it was written that was fire.
My favorite. Oh yeah, he got
Isn't it got out the airport, the mob picked me up in the truck?
That's on Hell on Earth.
No.
That's on Hell on Earth. The track that you're talking about is Live Nigga Rap. Live Nigga Rap.
Yes, sir.
It was written.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My favorite actual like written like have spitting is Ho Gonna Be a Ho on Murder Music. I love that track.
That shit is fire.
That's my favorite have like when and it's a solo track. It's just him.
Oh, that's the story that he gets caught up with.
No. That's a story where it's another story very similar to Trife Life and Trife Life 2, but this is just him actually getting it off this time. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting caught up.
Finally.
Yeah, finally after 3 tries.
Terrible luck. All right, moving on.
All right, I'll go next. Since we were talking about Havoc and his production discography, also his rapping discography, I'm gonna stay in the Queens area, and I am going to go with Q-Tip as rapping producer.
Oh, yes, sir.
I think this man is highly underrated as a producer. He helped Mobb Deep find their sound on The Infamous.
I think he's not only underrated, often overlooked as a producer. I
Yes.
think people forget that Q-Tip is a producer.
Yeah, and I mean,
Even a lyricist.
Yeah, well, exactly.
He's overlooked as a lyricist.
Well, yeah, that too. But
I think that has to do with the group element.
Yeah,
I don't think people see him as a solo artist, so they don't hold him to the levels of solo artists.
because he was so great in a group.
Right.
And
then-
the group,
Correct.
the group that he was in was monumental.
Exactly.
You know, an iconic
Correct.
hip hop group.
And yet everybody thinks that who was it?
Fife?
No, not Fife, the producer.
Everybody thought it was Ali Shaheed.
Everybody thought it was Ali Shaheed.
No, but it was Tip. Yeah. Tip was Tip in the lead, but more so Tip because, like I said, I'm building off the Havoc pick, that Blood pick. He helped them shape that sound like that. There's a distinct sound on The Infamous. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Q-Tip is the one that showed them the path to that sound. And like Havoc has credited Q-Tip. He's like, yo, if it weren't for Q-Tip, we wouldn't sound this way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they got darker, but still their snares were so hitting. Like their patterns
like smooth,
were so,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Q-Tip.
Yeah, he did
go ahead.
I used to be in love with this chick named E&J.
Yeah, well he produced that track. That's his sole production credit on The Infamous. Yep. But he's also all over that album. You know, as far as being he's beat drum programmer on the album. Like he does a bunch of shit on that album.
He's got vocals on other songs too.
Yeah.
Not verses, but he's got vocals on other songs.
So I mean, and then obviously the work that he went on and did with Tribe Called Quest. You know what I'm saying? All 6 of their albums. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Even the last album.
Thank you for the support. We got it from here.
That's a highly slept on album.
Big time.
I know the timing of when it dropped had a lot to do with it.
Right.
And you know, with Fife being gone, they didn't get to tour it and shit. But that's a highly, highly, highly underrated album. For being part of such a classic catalog, it didn't feel out of place.
No. It felt right in line with everything they did up until that point.
And I think more people need to go back and check that out.
Oh, for sure.
And really like sit down with it and appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a classic.
He also had the standout on Illmatic. To me, I always like.
Yeah.
Upon first hearing Illmatic, a lot of people probably felt like me and thought One Love was the song, you know, the one that you gravitate to, your favorite song.
Right.
And then as you hear it more, you know, you'll change up and you'll like this song and you'll like that song. But One Love will, you know, it's a timeless track.
Yeah.
I got it tatted on my arm, bro. So, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, that shit is insane. 4 verses.
The beat is just different, bro. The sample, everything.
Yeah, the whole thing. Even like the background sounds that let you know they're in jail and shit.
Oh yeah.
That he's talking about phone time or some shit.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, man. That's again classic Q-Tip production, and then you know, He did work with Janet Jackson. He worked with everybody.
Another great song that
Yeah.
I loved. The song him and Janet had together.
Yeah, they
the
sampled
verse.
Joni Mitchell. Yeah.
He also produced his own solo album.
Right, the Renaissance.
And his first single, Vibrant Thing, was recently sampled by Wale and J. Cole for the new Wale single. Not saying I like it, but it was used.
It was referenced, yeah. So, I mean, definitely Q-Tip. I mean,
and he's gone on to work with Kanye.
Yeah. Of course.
He's still active. He's produced for Busta and them.
Yeah.
He's got a long list of credits.
He put on Jay Dilla.
For whatever reason,
right.
For whatever reason, people just don't. He's yet to receive the flowers that he deserves.
Yeah, for sure.
And
he could act on top of that.
And he could act.
You know what I'm saying? So shouts to Q-Tip. That's my.
He
pick.
died really quick in Poetic Justice, but
he's stupid.
Really quick. But no. Shout out to Q-Tip for sure. Rest in peace, Fife. Shout out to
shouts
Tribe
to
Called Quest. Shout out to Jabari only because I feel like nobody ever shouts him out, and he seems like a cool cat, and he can cook.
Word up.
Jerobi.
That's probably why
no
he don't get no shout
about shit.
Jerobi.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to Jerobi, man.
Yeah, man. Great pick. Q-Tip.
Yeah, man.
Solid.
Who you got?
I'm gonna bring us to more current times.
Okay.
Because I feel like we always live and dwell in the 90s, and all our selections are almost always from the 90s and shit.
True,
so I want to bring
indeed.
us into the 2000s. One of the biggest artists out today, one of the most influential artists out today.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's dope as fuck. He produces a lot of his own shit, if not most of his own shit.
90% of it.
And that's J. Cole, a living legend in the making.
Right.
Absolutely.
God.
A lot of people consider him like the Nas of today. But he's got a lot of Q-Tip in him, you know?
Yeah.
He produces his own shit. He produces for others as well. He did a lot of work for Kendrick Lamar. He's done work for artists on his label, JID, Ari Lennox,
Yep.
Earth Gang.
Yep. The whole Dreamville, yeah.
Yeah. He's produced for Drake.
Yeah. That song, Lights Please. Lights Please. That song. Wow.
Great song.
Both of them killed that shit.
He's one of the three-headed monsters of today. Him, Drake, Kendrick.
Hit It in the Morning. That shit.
Great song.
Wow.
Great
That shit is fire.
One of my favorite songs. I don't mean to cut you off though, but one of my favorite songs that he produced and he's on, he wrote, is "Adolescence" from 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fire ass track.
I fucking love that song. That song to me, the way he spit it, the way he wrote it, and then the background, which was the music, was perfect. It was pure synergy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It went together perfectly.
I just think he's so nice with the raps that people forget that he's a producer at the same time.
That's another thing.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
On that same album you're talking about, GMOD, Get Off My Dick, fire song.
Yeah.
And to connect them to Q-Tip, they sampled or they used the same sample that a Tribe Called Quest had used on that song. I think it was Forbidden Fruit off the Born Sinner album.
Yes, that's off Born Sinner, right?
Yeah.
With him and Kendrick. Yeah, that's for Electric Relaxation.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
So shout
Didn't
out
he
to
do the
Cole.
whole Born Sinner album? Right, that was him by himself.
Most of it.
Yeah, he does most of the productions for most of his albums.
Right, exactly. Like 90% of it.
Yeah.
So shouts to J. Cole.
Big talent, big change from the norm of what rappers are today.
Oh,
you know
hell
what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
He's the black sheep. He's the odd man out as far as, you know, braggadocio, clout chasing,
Right.
Content.
Yeah.
He actually talks about
doing
shit.
foolishness to get popular.
Oh, he don't do none of that.
He don't do none of that shit. And big shout out to him for the performance he put on at Rolling Loud in the middle of a rainstorm.
In the middle of a tsunami.
Still ripped it. Still gave the people their money's worth.
Big time.
Just a hell of a show. A hell of a showman. His latest tour looked like it was super fire.
Hell yeah. So when he was out there dancing the big to
yeah,
Hypnotize?
he did. That was in Barclay actually.
Yeah, that was dope.
He did a verse to Hypnotize. I think I posted that a while ago.
That was dope.
He does dope shit, man.
Yeah.
He's carrying the torch. Not to say the way it should be, because who knows how it should be carried, but
Right.
he's carrying it in a positive light. He's carrying hip hop in a good direction, and he would have fit right in the 90s.
Oh, what? Hell yeah.
So shout out to Cole, man. Dreamville, as a label, shout out to them.
Yep.
Shout out to every city he went on tour in, he would create the jersey for the Dreamville.
Oh yeah.
That shit is hot.
That's cool. It goes back to what I was saying about people just taking other people's logos and putting their name
their
on
merch.
it. But it looked cool and shit.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, man. Shout out to J. Cole.
Word up. Shout out to him. I had a hot take.
Fayetteville. Shout out to Fayetteville.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Word up, North Carolina. I had a hot take years ago. I got into a big discussion with a couple of my boys from down here, and the conversation was between J. Cole and Drake. And I had a hot take where I said, as dope as J. Cole is, Drake is a better lyricist. Drake is all around a better, has more lyrics. He's more of a lyricist. Had I known that Drake didn't write some of his stuff, I would have not said that, because now I think that crown falls on J. Cole. But, where if that had never come out, where Drake didn't write for himself, right, I would still give it kind of to Drake. You feel me? Because they're both neck and neck. It's just a simple fact that, in my opinion, Drake kind of falters a little bit when he doesn't write 100% of his shit. You feel me?
Right.
J. Cole takes it, and then not only that, but he's his own producer as well. It's just, it's insane.
I'll tell you why I like J. Cole better too. As far as lyrically, he could, for instance, that song that he did with on the Gangstar album, the latest Gangstar album, that they took
Family
all the
or something.
Right. That beat was standard Premier, dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying? He could have rapped to it, like, how could I put it, in the standard flow, but he changed it up. You know what I mean? He did something different with his flow. That's why I appreciate it. I was like, wow, he went somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I appreciate him as a lyricist more so than Drake. You know what I'm saying?
That's tough, yo. That's tough. Lyrically, I see them as very neck and neck.
Nah.
But I would even have to give it to Drake also.
Nah.
Only because Drake says shit that you remember later. And Cole, for all the dope shit he says, and go check out the album of the year freestyle where he rips the Uchi Wally beat.
Yeah.
I'm talking about he rips it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any bars that are like
quotables
or like super memorable. I mean, everybody knows rest in peace Uncle Phil, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
But and the shit from the song where he's trying to get some pussy. the first piece of ass or whatever. But even now I can't remember what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Where Drake says shit, and I know he does it on purpose because he wants people to use his shit for Instagram.
Of course.
Quotes. But he says shit that you'll remember later.
It's like Nas and Jay-Z, where you'll remember a lot more of Jay-Z's rhymes as opposed to Nas's. But the only difference is that Nas's, first and second album are just so iconic that, you're going to remember a lot of Nas rhymes. You feel me? But I just feel like they're kind of in that vein. Like, J. Cole has one target audience, Drake has another. And again, I give it more to J. Cole now, knowing what I know. But back then, tell you the truth, and you know how much I be hating sometimes on Drake. Or not really hating, but just, I have my takes. I was giving it to Drake back then because I knew I was like, this kid has something, and he spits shit that not normal people spit, you feel me? And then the same thing with Cole, but it's something I remember just having this conversation now,
Well, similar to what you said about Drake, Jay, and Cole, Nas, with both Cole and Nas, you have to go back and listen to things more than once to sometimes really get what they're saying and
Yes.
you know, break down their wordplay and their hidden messages and shit. Where Jay, and more so Drake than Jay, because Jay does a lot of doubles and triples. They say things very simply that a lot of people relate to.
Yes.
And that's what is remembered, and that's why for me it gives them the little push,
because it has a universal appeal.
Yeah. But still, shout out to J. Cole. Definitely one of the best artists, one of my favorite artists of this time and of this era.
For sure.
And he does what Drake can do, because Drake don't produce a fucking thing.
Exactly. There you go. So, bang.
There's that. All right, let's get to number twos then. Who you got at number 2, Blood?
All right, so for number 2, I got a previous guest of the show and an all-round beast, man. And I give this second placement to him because just of the body of work that he has. And he's one of those people that you can discern between whether he should really be a producer or really should be a rapper. And that's my man, Hell's Roof's own Ito
Brigante.
Yo, that kid is no joke with it on both aspects, man. When it comes to rhyming and beat making.
Shout out to the brother Ito. Shout out to the new crack era. Shout out to the bro Jay Rios.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. Dope rapper, dope producer. Got about 20 projects in the works. Might have dropped 15 last year.
Facts.
Paving the way, you know, for his area, Rochester, his region, and stuff. Leading that charge. He's got a West Coast artist, Boo the Prince.
Sounds like he's from Brooklyn.
So, you know, it's already bi-coastal.
Yeah.
Again, Boricua, so shout out. You know?
Yeah, man. That kid's got
and a good soul. You know what I mean? That's always important too. A lot of people say never meet your heroes.
Yeah, true.
And you know, when you meet someone who has stature and achievements, and they're still cool as ice and still down to earth and still regular as fuck, that's a beautiful thing, man. And that's you know, that's Ito.
Won't disappoint you, won't let you down, man.
Yeah, and like I said, he's doing big, major moves, working with a lot of artists, a lot of up-and-coming artists, established artists.
Word. Got
a lot of projects coming out, a lot of collaborations coming out, and I don't see him letting his foot off the pedal. And, I mean, an Ito album and an album produced by Ito, like, you know you're getting good shit and you anticipate growth, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And you know you're stepping in a different arena because I mean, just to bridge it back, you mentioned Flea Lord. You know, we mentioned Havoc. He's worked with Havoc. He got his shit with DJ Muggs. I think he got a whole album with DJ Muggs, matter of fact. He's done work with just a bunch of different people in the game that you're like, yo, this guy, like, who is this guy? Like, when you find out and then you just start going back, you're like, man, but this, like, you know, might be one of the most slept on underground artists of today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's got a lot of work.
And that won't last long. He won't be slept on for long.
Nah.
He got the shit with Alchemist too, you know. And you know, we're talking about heavyweights, and the music that we're talking about is for a different audience. You know, it's a different genre, a different wave of people, like the Griselda folks, and you know, just them underground folks that appreciate the raw lyricism and beat making.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest. I wish their subgenre of hip hop, which I don't know if it has a title or not, got the same mainstream attention that this drill subgenre is getting.
Right.
But that plays back to what we spoke about earlier. I don't think their genre, ethos in them, is very lyrical, but within those lyrics is knowledge and messages and you know, consciousness, and that might be why they don't allow them to get the play that they do. But also, we're in 2021.
They're lyrical. They're just not melodic. They're lyrical. There's just it's on a different wavelength. Like, you know, like you open your third eye when you listen to some shit like that. And when you listen to drill and shit, kind of makes you a little bit more closed-minded.
Oh, it makes you dumb. It dumbs
Exactly.
you down. But the good thing is that we are in the year 2021, and you don't necessarily need the radio cosign or anyone's cosign for that. If you are making quality music and you find the people that enjoy your music,
And
they
sell it
will
to
help you grow that music, and you can stick to your guns and do whatever you do. And
Facts.
I know Ito in his camp, they've got a
core.
following that is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And I just see a lot of good things for them in the next year, in 2022. Ito's going to have a good year, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. He's real dope. That's a good pick, man.
Yeah, definitely good pick. All right, bro.
Good looking out.
Yeah, man. All right, so I'm going to go with a very well-known pick. I'm going to go with the RZA.
Oh,
The Resurrector.
oh man, that's a good pick, bro.
Ruler Zigzag Allah.
Yeah, my hot take, and I've said this before, RZA's probably my favorite Wu-Tang rapper.
It's not a hot take.
No,
It is kind of.
everyone don't agree with that, and it's not popular opinion.
That the RZA is probably the best Wu-Tang member?
Rapper?
Oh, rapper, nah.
A lot of people won't say that. I to me, he's my favorite rapper from
Right.
Wu-Tang because similar to ODB, he's unpredictable, but it's controlled unpredictableness, and you have to go back and listen to him a few times to really catch everything and hear everything. And
Plus,
his voice, his voice, his flow, his delivery, his tone is all so unique.
And
His messages, man. You listen to his messages, and they're more positive than they are negative most of the time. It's something that's very, very rare when you're talking about rappers that are like, you know, in his genre, you know, that type of like horrorcore / like hardcore hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Nah, and I mean, we're just talking about him lyrically. Let's not even forget about what he's done behind the boards.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's more known as a producer. Yeah. You know, most of his credit is given as a producer. The classic run he had with the first 4 or 5 Wu-Tang albums.
Well, yeah.
He branched out, produced for Big, produced for Wu affiliates.
Yeah.
Produced for other artists.
Everybody. Shaheem, Lotta Darkman,
yeah, Killer Army,
Clock, Killer Army, Grave Diggers. I mean, I could keep going for days.
For real. He's got
all the solo albums. And don't sleep on his executive mindset, like his executive producer role that he played. Shout out to that Hulu Wu-Tang series, because it really shows you that he was really the architect of everything, you feel me? And put together just a run in hip hop that is probably unmatched by one person, you feel me?
Yeah, but also shout out to the people that helped him, because he did have his brother Divine, and he did have Power, and he had the dudes that were doing the management. So he had,
but he was the one that kind of like put it together. He was like, "Yo,
he was the brain.
He had the vision,
but he had the people that would help him, because it's hard for one person to do everything across the board. So if he could come up, you know, Divine could handle the business aspect, and Power could handle the clothes aspects, and this guy could handle the artist management, and you know, he's still quarterbacking everything. He just doesn't have to be so hands-on with everything.
He doesn't have to micromanage everything.
Yeah, so shout out to having a team.
Yeah. But the RZA, man, the guy's another living legend we have in hip-hop.
And let's not sleep on his Hollywood.
No, that's the other thing I was going to get to, you know. His Hollywood acumen.
Yep, he did The Man with the Fist 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Kill Bill 1 and 2.
He scored Bill.
Well, in terms of like soundtrack, he did Kill Bill.
Wasn't he an American Gangster? He was one of the cops in American Gangster.
Yeah, yes, he was. Yeah,
he was in another movie.
Yeah, he was one of the cops in American Gangster. He was in that movie. He was in a movie. One of the first movies I saw him in.
He was in a movie with Paul Walker, I think. A bank rob movie or some shit.
I know the movie I seen him in was shit. It was him, Jennifer Aniston, Clive Owens, and he tries to help Clive Owens get money back that somebody stole from him and shit. It's pretty dope.
Really?
I forgot the name of the movie. Fuck. But that's a dope movie. Yeah, but the fucking RZA, man, the guy, like I said, man, he's one of the living legends we have in hip hop. You know,
Yeah.
And in all music, you know what I mean? Just he elevated the art form, both lyrically and musically, sonically. You know what I'm saying? And we could credit him for that. And he brought a different flavor. It's from a different region in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That nobody was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So,
shout out to him for also being a big proponent of movie samples in music, which is kind of overdone now, but back then wasn't really being done at all. And to tie it in with season 4, man, he got that one bar that I'll forever remember. He says, "I stand close to walls like number 4, the lizard." Shout out to the Five Deli Venoms.
yeah.
That dude is raw, man.
Nah, he nice.
Yeah, the RZA taught me that MSG is actually monosodium glutamate. And he told me...
You didn't know that?
No, you knew that?
Besides Madison Square Garden.
I didn't know what it was. I just knew all the chinos said no MSG.
In the Chinese food,
I thought they hated the Knicks like I did. But he also taught us that the blue is for the Crips, the red is for the Bloods, the white is for the Stars, and something from up above. I don't fucking know. But he did teach me.
He taught you.
My number 2 would have actually been the RZA, but we don't want to do any repeats. It would have also been Kanye, but we also don't want to do any repeats. So I want to pull out a Jersey representative that probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Put out 2 classic albums. One of them is Diamond Plus. 1/3 of the Fugees, Wyclef Jean.
Hey. Wyclef Jean, Sac Passé.
Like I said, put out the classic, The Score, put out the classic, The Nappy Heads before that, put out the classic, The Carnival, produced a dope song for Big Pun and many other artists.
Yeah.
Inspired Lauryn Hill's classic album. Probably not intentionally though, but
Yeah.
Had a great career, yo. Moved on into politics.
And a real musician at that.
Yeah. And he wasn't trash on the mic. One of the, from what I can remember, and this is just my memory, but one of the first singing rappers.
Yeah, he was melodic.
You could say that a little bit. Yeah.
And I just always thought he was dope.
One of the first Haitian rappers that, now there's a bunch of Haitian rappers on the scene, but one of the first, so they have that whole, melodic thing going on, and, they mix in their Creole ancestry, but very, very nasty on the mic, very, very slept on.
And he wasn't afraid to, use sounds that maybe others hadn't used, like on the Score when they used that, shubab shubab.
Oh yeah.
I always thought that was
Cowboys.
Dope. And nobody had ever used it. And then they went and used it. They redid the Roberta Flack song. Yeah. They had another there was something else on there. But he just wasn't afraid to use whatever he liked. When he redid the Bee Gees, I thought that was dope. I think we played that last week.
Yeah.
And he did it, immigrating from Haiti to Jersey, broke, poor, whatever the case may be, alien in a foreign land. And he blew up. He stuck to his guns. He blew up. He made music his way, even when the label didn't necessarily want to support after the flop of the first album.
Yeah.
He went back in and he regrouped and he came out with a classic Diamond Plus selling album. Classic to this day.
Yeah.
And then
classic.
he went and had a career after that with solo albums and outside production. And even now with the Fugees reunion tour, it's still relevant and still an important part of hip hop.
Yeah, no, for sure. Shouts to Wyclef, man. He's got one of my favorite songs that he actually produced and he's actually on is Nappy Heads. I fucking love that song. I love the production on that song. It's so crisp. Everything, you can hear every instrument perfectly. It's perfectly done, man. Whoever engineered the shit out of that. But obviously, shouts to him for putting it together. But that's one of my favorite joints.
Yeah. No.
And I like another song where his production shines, and you could tell that it's him, basically putting all the touches on it. It's on the Carnival. It's the first song. It's called Apocalypse.
Yes.
Where they take that vocal sample and he just lets it ride. Yo, that beat right there, listen to that. If just go back and listen to the clarity of it and how beautiful it sounds all together.
Yeah, and then listen to the whole album.
No,
the
album was amazing.
Was a great album.
Absolutely. The Carnival.
It is a good album. I would have preferred to him stay a little bit more underground sounding, even though like I know that his trajectory was leading him in another direction where he was already a superstar.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe therefore why he kind of went the Carnival route.
Right.
But just as an underground artist, like again, I can't say enough for the fact that he might have been the strongest member of the Fugees had Lauryn Hill not outshined them eventually.
Right.
You know, and in terms of lyrics and production, and let's not forget all the other things that are included on the album, like the little skits and things like that. I'm pretty sure he had a lot to do with that.
Oh hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which made it like sound very thugged out and like grunge at the time, you know? That whole Jersey's underground shit.
Yeah, he was definitely the Chinese guy.
Oh hell yeah.
What do you think? I open up a Chinese restaurant in the hood and don't
I'll
know what's
fuck you
going on?
represent.
Shout out to Wyclef though. Let's do some quick honorable mentions before we get to our number ones. Well, actually, do your honorable mentions and then give us your number one, and we'll go around like that.
All right, go ahead.
So, Blood, you're up.
I got my number one honorable mention is actually going to be a gentleman known by the name of Pete Rock, who is a beast when it comes to the production, but very slept on when it comes to the rap game. I think it's the fact that he hasn't had too many solo projects.
Right.
But just the fact when he was together with CL Smooth, things that he would say in the tracks, and the track that obviously the first breakout single, Troy, he fucking rips it, and a lot of other like just vocal samples that he'll put out, like for example on the Nas album when he did The World Is Yours, things like that. I really, really fuck with P Rock. And
isn't his Soul Survivor album considered a classic?
Yeah,
it is, absolutely. But again, it was more a joint project as opposed to his solo album. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Here's a hot take. I never heard it.
What?
Oh shit!
Nothing against P Rock. I just never got around to hearing it.
To hearing Soul Survivor?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pre-streaming where you had to buy CDs. And you can't buy every fucking CD.
That's true. Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
It now, though.
Oh yeah, I can stream it now for sure.
Everybody, go back and do your listening.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. And I'll give another shout out to I'll shout out Dr. Dre, who is supposedly rumored to not write any of his shit, but I just love his solo albums, regardless if he writes it or not, man. I think he's an excellent rapper producer. And it's rumored that he doesn't even produce 100% of his shit, but I don't give a fuck, bro. Whatever he does or he doesn't, him as an artist, Dr. Dre, The Chronic, and Chronic 2001 will forever link him to one of the greatest in hip hop. So shout out to him.
How about we say he's a great composer?
Yeah, I mean,
how about we say he's a great poser?
Hey.
Ooh.
Wow.
Regardless, man, you can't take away what he's done, bro. There's no way, regardless if it was somebody else that, produced or somebody else that wrote for him.
Keep that same energy.
I do, man. I do. Like, again, you fucking love Drake. You know what I'm saying? And you will defend that nigga to the grave. We could be like, nah, my nigga, nah, this nigga, yo, this nigga, this. And you'd be like, oh, chill, that nigga's the number one. A, B, C, D.
Stats don't lie. Stats don't lie. I only argue facts and stats.
Facts don't, stats don't lie.
Stats don't lie.
Women do.
All right, so who's your number one?
Okay, so my number one is going to be
so let me cut you off.
the one, the only, the insane Kanye West. This motherfucker, I don't know what the fuck his mom was on when she had him in her stomach, but this nigga single-handedly took over the entire game you know, and I can't say enough about the guy. He might be crazy, he might not be. Like I said, there's a fine line between genius and crazy, but I think Kanye West is one of the top lyricists, not lyricists, I'll say top rapper producers, if not the top rapper producer of all time.
I could dig it. I don't have to reiterate my fandom for Kanye and his genius, whether on a production level, on a rap level, on an executive production level, on an executive leader of a label level, on a fashion level, on a technological level. I mean, he's second only to me, so definitely he's the man.
I thought you were gonna say Drake, but
No. Drake is number 3 on the list. It goes Burnz, Kanye, Drake, then Diddy.
So 3 Herberts on the top.
3 Herberts. Burnz. He actually said Burnz. He didn't even say me. He said Burnz.
Right. Isn't that
He mentions
it's an Eminem song
in third person
that he says my 10 favorite rappers are in no order are Redman.
Yeah.
So
it goes like, Jay-Z.
It goes Burnz, Kanye, Drake, then Diddy. The world don't know yet, but mark my words.
No.
Oh God, the cut of gods.
Definitely shout out to Kanye.
Kanye West, man.
Kanye West.
Yeah,
Shout out to
man.
Kanye West for saying he's gonna pay Beanie Siegel for coming up with the name Yeezy, and he didn't have to do that, bro.
No. Now Beanie Siegel's throwing out $50 million out there.
No.
He said
Supposedly
it.
that's what Kanye said. He's gonna give him $50 million and 5% of Yeezy, which is valued today at $450 million. That's a $500 million payout to Beanie Siegel, who Lord knows, God bless him, and this is not a shot. And shit, he ain't the only one, but he could use 50 or 500 million right now.
Shit, I could use 50 right now.
Like I said,
right
he ain't
now.
the only one. He ain't the only
Beanie
one.
can use anything. Facts.
But that goes to
to show you the loyalty of Kanye.
Yeah, and if Kanye's a different dude, bro, because Beanie used to diss him back in the day. He used to call him gay and shit.
Yeah, he did
In public, in interviews.
But he also went and had his back when supposedly there was some stick-up kids sizing Kanye up.
Correct.
So there's a lot involved to their relationship, and we might not know everything. Yeah. But I think that is a real thing to go back when you don't have to at all. You could be like, yo, my man, like, yo, regardless, you name me Yeezy, but I copyrighted that shit. Yeah. So
fuck around, Beanie ain't even remember that shit.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, but Kanye West is dope, man. One of my favorite, like, as far as Kanye rapping, I think his best performance was on one of his mixtapes that I got from you, DJ LRM or LMR or whatever the fuck. And all them songs on there were either songs that were scrapped or remixes of songs that were already out. Mm-hmm. And like, to me, in my opinion, Kanye's best lyrically when he's by himself. Like when he's on a song by himself.
Me too.
I don't
I
don't think he does good when he's around, even if he's around other great rappers.
Well, then again, I don't know, because on The Throne he was really good, and he was with Jay-Z, and he might have even gotten Jay-Z on a few of those songs.
That's the one example. But I always think of this one song where it's Eminem, Jay-Z, Drake, Kanye, Lil Wayne is on there. That song Forever, that Drake song.
Yes, but I don't think Jay's on there.
There's a song that Jay-Z's on that Kanye is also on.
That's
Monster.
Like Us.
Huh?
Swagger Like
Or Monster? No,
Swagger. Swagger Like
It might
Us.
be Swagger. Yeah, like, I don't know.
They were both around the same time, so it's easy to confuse.
I don't know, but to me, Kanye's best when he's by himself. One of the finest examples, in my opinion, and this is a RZA produced track, is White Dress.
Yes.
That fucking track. I mean, it's
well, that came out though.
No, I never said it was unreleased. I'm just saying it's one of the finest examples of Kanye rapping.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful song.
Yeah, White Dress is dope, and the RZA produced it.
Yeah, that was.
I like
Fish soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Devil in a Blue Dress. He fucking kills that shit.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
I think, and that's one of the hottest beats, bro, of all time. But I think, like, you go back and you listen to old Kanye, like, people forget the type of hits that he has. Like, that's why, like, a lot of people talk about, like, a verses or some shit and put them in a box. They just remember what he's done lately. But yo, you're talking about a dude. Go back and listen to Diamonds Are Forever, bro. Listen to that fucking song and listen to his energy and his lyrics on that shit. That motherfucker rips that shit.
You're talking about the original though, right? Not the one with Chicken.
Original. Yeah, the original Diamonds Are Forever. He basically puts the rock on his back.
Yeah.
And he fucking murks that shit from the beginning of the song.
Yeah.
And you know, not to mention the other little things that he does, like throws in like Forever Ever that Andre Benjamin originated, and yo, I just love little subtle shit that he does, bro. He's crazy with it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people. My bad. I know a lot of people hold My Dark Twisted Fantasy as like the epitome of Kanye excellence.
Right.
But I think Late Registration is very close or possibly even superior.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
He was working with that producer at the time. Not Mike Dean.
John Barry. Not John Barry. Oh, damn.
No, the
guy that
John
something. Fuck.
I don't know, but anyway, he worked with
John
him
Bryant
on that
John
album,
Bryant, that's his name.
And you can hear it.
Yeah.
And the songs are really fleshed out and put together dope.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think it's very up there with My Dark Twisted Fantasy. And it might even be better.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you might be right.
If I recall, Dark Twisted Fantasy has a skip.
Yeah, it does.
It might have two.
It does.
Where where Late Registration, it for sure has one, and the one is a maybe.
Which one?
No, it might have two. It has a song with Brandy that's kind of a skip.
Oh, okay, I know what.
And then it has a song. It's not Where the Roses, but it's in the vein of Where the Roses. And it might be considered a skip, but I don't know. I always thought that album was genius.
I like the song Addiction on there.
Addiction? Yeah, hell yeah.
That song is dope. Addiction is dope. Roses is amazing. Hey Mama.
Man, I'll even go back to the College Dropout, man. Like, that song All Falls Down is, oh my God. Like, I listen to that song and it takes me back to a time when hip-hop was more or less pure, because we were coming out of the 90s and into the 2000s, and there was just so much going on in the 2000s. And you listen to that song, you're like, yo, who is this kid? And where did he come from? He just sounds different, bro.
You know what made him sound so different is that he was telling the truth. He was talking about
like he was pure, bro.
Yeah, like how he, like, even though you might have status, you're probably one of the most miserable people on the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And on that same album, he had 2 words.
Yeah, with
Mos Def
and Freeway. Yeah, that shit was fire.
I always remember that being dope, and he even got off on the mic on that one.
Yeah, he did.
So shout out to Kanye West, man, living legend.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely gonna go down in history as one of the great, not even musicians, just great human beings.
Yeah, with Steve Jobs and Albert Einstein and everybody always talking about, and Disney.
Just like a genius. Yeah, just like a genius. Like, he's going to go down in history as, you know, maybe underappreciated when it's all said and done. Things that he's done, things that he's doing that are unrivaled. Like, dude, there's nobody in the game that has put out the products that he has put out and has succeeded. You feel me? Yeah. In terms of just the Yeezys on Nike, the Yeezys on Adidas.
Yeah. Even before that motherfucker had people walking around with shades glasses and shit.
Shutter shades, yeah.
That's right.
But he had people doing that shit.
Shades.
And he had people walking around with the fucking burqas around their neck, right? Called the big ass Arabic scarf.
Yeah. Hell yeah, because he did that shit on Can't Tell Me Nothing. Bro. He's a trendsetter. That's a fact.
For real, definitely.
Yeah, man. So definitely Kanye West, your number 1 pick. Mine are in no specific order, by the way. Shoot them out there.
That's weak. Okay. Every time y'all do that, that's weak.
Really?
Every time y'all do that. Every time.
So your number 1 is your
y'all is too many people, because I don't be doing that.
Yeah. What y'all trying to be politically correct for?
Y'all is too many.
That's what it is. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't go on forever. You know what I mean? I'm just no specific
Give
order.
a fucking order.
Get the fuck out of here.
Pussy shit.
That's pussy shit. You're right. It's pussy shit.
Yeah, pussy.
So go ahead. Who's your not number 1?
I'll go back to Jersey, man. And this dude is a beast on the mic. and he's also pretty dope on the boards, man. He's produced some pretty fucking how could I put it? Pretty memorable, pretty dope 90s tracks for us that we've all enjoyed. I'm gonna go with the one and only Mr. Funk Dr. Spock, Redman.
Ooh, Reggie Noble.
See, that's a surprise one for me. I forget Redman's a producer.
Yeah, he started out as a DJ / producer.
But did he ever produce for anyone else? Not himself?
Nah, not really. Not exclusively, no. He's doing it now, but he not exclusively. He was doing it for his old Gilla House crew and all that shit, but again,
see, that's
not
probably
exclusively.
why I never
exactly. But he has produced some of our favorite songs, though.
Yeah, Time for Some Action.
Tonight's the Night. You know what I'm saying?
Superman
Lover. He produced the song with Meth and him. That was
High? No.
That was on Muddy Waters. Pick It Up. No, not.
Oh, okay.
No, not that one. That's not with him and Meth. Anyway, one of those songs that was on Muddy Waters with him and Meth, he produced.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, shouts to Redman, man. And
I don't know what can be said about Redman's lyrics. Like, just one of those artists that will never go away and should never go away because he just keeps it funky all around.
Right. And I think that's one of the main things is that he's a beast on the mic. Aside from being a decent producer, like the dude has quotables. The dude has been doing it for almost 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And he's always been a beast on the mic. I mean, Eminem considers him his favorite rapper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and even on the mic, he's underrated.
Very much so.
I guess.
He's not.
He's not.
We know because we know.
Right.
We study hip hop as a culture, but like as a just mainstream acceptance, I don't think he's ever gotten his just due.
True.
Yeah,
even when he was on his platinum run with Meth on Blackout, and he had I think Doc's the Name, or Red 2000, one of those albums, where he was going platinum.
He had a bunch of singles.
Wasn't like he wasn't getting the props at the same time. And I don't think he ever did, and I don't think he ever will. From mainstream, again, from people in the know.
Yeah.
Eminem, for example, people who study hip hop, people who study music, they know what he's done and who he's influenced, and even who his production has influenced and shit like that. But from a mainstream standpoint, he'll never get what he deserves.
No.
And shout out to him for his acting chops too, because I think he really did his thing on how what is it? How high?
Yeah.
How high? Yeah, but you can't really.
He's acting as himself.
Redman.
But I'm just saying he did his thing. Like if you look at Method didn't do as much of a good job as Redman did because he was just a silly cat. Like he was good, but really watch the flick, yo. Like Redman has all the funny fucking parts, bro. Like he's just hilarious, bro. He's just a funny dude. Like when he's knocked out and Redman's blowing the smoke on him, look at his face. Like he looks like he's really acting, bro. Like that shit just makes me laugh every time I think about it.
He was probably just dumb high and tired.
Yeah. He's funny.
No, he is funny.
Yeah, he's a funny cat. And then he's gonna be on the new episode of Ghost. So shout out to Redman, yo. Doing big things, bro, and will always be in the mainstream, yo. I fucking love that cat, bro.
Nah, he's dope, man. I fucks with Red.
Shouts to Red. Shouts to Newark also.
Yeah.
Shouts to all of Jersey.
Jersey, baby.
Past, present, and future.
That's right. And that's my number one pick. You happy?
No, because it's not your number one pick. It's your last pick of three, but it's not your number one.
My bad.
Did you have any honorable mentions?
Of course. Large Professor, man. Dude's a beast on the mic, and he produced, again, some of our favorite hits. You know what I'm saying? Lord Finesse, another 90s cat. Dope on the mic. The fucking guy will skewer you on the fucking mic, and he's dope on the boards.
Shout out to Diamond D, too.
I was going to say Diamond D.
And Diamond D1.
Off of that terrible ass joke.
I'm here all week.
Yeah.
Yo, you my top 3 homies, yo, in no particular order.
Good looking. I'm not one. I'm not 2 or 3.
I'm not 2 or 3.
In no particular order.
Shout outs, of course, to the one, the only, the incomparable. Rest in peace, Jay Dilla, man. I love that guy. His production was amazing. He was pretty dope on the mic. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Jay Dilla. Big Crit, another great MC that's dope on the boards. You know what I mean? Who else could I come up with?
Yes, Big Crit. If you have not, go out and listen to Forever and a Day.
Word.
Probably his best project. And if not his best project, definitely my favorite project from him. He's got a song on there about his grandma, very dope. And he's got a song on there about trying to maintain relationships while in the industry, also very dope.
Well, yeah, again, Big Crit, shouts to him. And my last honorable mention is Rakim. He produced all of the first two projects, him and Eric B, but mainly him. You know what I'm saying? He was the one picking out the samples, layering it, and all that. So, and we all know what he does on the mic. Pause.
The legend, the God,
the God MC,
the God.
Absolutely. Shouts to Rakim. And all of your other honorable mentions in no specific order.
Yeah, in no specific order.
So I'll give you my number one, then I'll give you my honorable mentions. My number one is the one and only Puff Daddy.
Perfect.
Probably didn't do much producing because he had his production team, the Hitmen, but he oversaw all their productions and then tightened it up and put the finishing touches and the gloss on it.
Puffy glitter.
Probably didn't write a lot of his own lyrics, but that's okay because you ain't got to write them to recite them. And he did win Songwriter of the Year one year, so he was writing something.
Yeah, checks.
He said it. Don't worry if I write rhymes. I write checks.
Facts.
So he may not be the best producer/rapper, but he is my favorite producer/rapper.
Also, shouts to Puffy for getting producer, probably greatest producer of all time, and in the also subsequent award, he got greatest biter of all time. You remember that in the Source magazine?
No.
Yeah, they had like the greatest of.
That's cute, but where's the Source now? Or where's Puff Daddy now? So fuck out of here.
Oh shit.
To the Source.
Oh, my bad, man.
Yeah, shout out to Puff Daddy. What can I say? He's the man. He produced classic albums, executive produced classic albums, produced for everybody and their mother, had a run where 80% of the Billboard Top 10 was all him. Went on to produce films, clothes, liquor,
his own
TV shows,
his own
cologne,
what's that shit? Distribution. He did for the label. That's big.
Marketing
his own
agency,
TV channel.
Like, come on, bro.
Cable network.
He took hip hop and single-handedly elevated it to a level that it wasn't at. And a lot of people are benefiting from it now. He's the Godfather and
Brother Love.
He's also Brother Love. And
just put on countless artists as well.
He is a biter because I've been Brother Love since WWE days. So I don't know how he's just going to take my name and become Brother Love. But because it's Puff Daddy, I'll allow it. Shout out to him. Shout out to Bad Boy. Rest in peace, Biggie.
So you agree he is a biter then?
Oh, I never said he wasn't.
Okay.
Right. And the Source was probably right, but they don't get to call that out in public. You don't do that.
That's probably
my favorite thing about Diddy. Canceled. My favorite thing with Diddy is what he did back in the day with like the remixes, like the hip hop remixes, everything that he did with Mary and like, you know, just throwing Biggie on a lot of those shits and Faith and just crazy, bro.
They say even that was biting and he got that from Ron G and shit, but it's Puff Daddy, so I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, and he took it mainstream because Ron G was never going to take it mainstream. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He took the Harlem party sound, the Harlem vibe, the beauty of it, the black excellence. He made it a mainstream. He made it cool. He made a lot of money doing it. Nobody will do it how he did it. He's the Drake of his day. And long live Puff Daddy.
Puffy is rough and he is tough and he will kick your ass.
He's a thug, bro. He's a thug. Don't get shit twisted.
You think he's a thug?
He's not soft, bro.
You don't think he's a homo thug?
Nope. He rocked Steve Stout upside the head with a
champagne bottle. Steve Stout.
He beat up his son's college football coach for saying some slick shit, roughed him up.
He slapped Drake.
That nigga don't play. He fought J. Cole, the fair one.
Yeah.
Slapped Drake, like
he fucking owed him money and shit.
Puff ain't soft. Puff tough.
Where my bitches?
Puff more legit than Suge, bro.
You think so? You think he's more gangster?
Yeah. You know why?
Because he's still out here?
Gangsters don't get caught.
Suge Knight ran over a nigga in his pickup truck.
Yeah,
and then ran backwards.
But he got caught.
Nigga crazy.
Put it in reverse.
Puff shot up a whole club and walked away. Like, yeah, it's over.
He didn't shoot shit.
You was there?
Oh, did he?
Who was there?
That was Shine,
Fuck
man.
outta here.
That was Shine, man.
He
Shine
beat
told me,
that
nigga.
case
He
too,
told
yo.
me.
He beat that case.
He beat the case.
He did
and
beat the case.
He had J-Lo there with him.
Not for long, but yes.
It's all right. She Foogie, though, man. She want to run back to Ben Affleck and shit.
That's Batman, fool.
No, man. She was with Mark Anthony, bro. That's the king of Puerto Rico. Is she going to
Facts.
flake on that to go to Ben Affleck?
Batman, fool.
And she was with A-Rod, nigga.
Nah,
Fucking
that don't-
Yankee
that
fucking
don't-
legend, nigga. DR to the fullest.
That don't count.
I knew you was going to say some shit. I knew it.
That
Fuck you and Mark Anthony, nigga.
Wow.
Nah, chill. I love Mark Anthony,
I was
yo.
gonna say.
I love Mark
Weed out.
Chill. That's my nigga.
Word.
That's
Big shout out to
my
Mark
nigga.
Anthony. But also big shout out to Puff Daddy.
Who your
Word
honorable
up.
mentions?
Honorable mentions. I got a gang. So I got D. Angeletti, a.k.a. the Mad Rapper. Shout out to him. He also produced
shit.
How to Rob for 50. So that was always dope.
Okay.
Shout out to the bro Crisis at I Am Crisis. Make
That's
sure
right.
to download the Agogi and look out for his future projects.
Beast.
Dope producer, rapper.
Beast.
Also, shout out and make sure you're following at Automatic Moolah, another dope producer rapper that we've had up on the show.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Scarface. Slept on as a producer.
Yeah.
Not
got
saying he
credits.
produced a gang of shit, but he produced enough shit to be considered, and he produced the classic Mary Jane that has been sampled multiple times.
Facts.
Shout out to
No
Scarface. Shout out to David Banner. Mentioned him earlier. Didn't have nobody to make beats for him. Went out and made his own shit. Shouts to Swizz Beats. Not my favorite on the mic, but he got songs people like and people fuck with him. So shout out to him. Somebody that we forgot to mention that is very big, possibly the biggest artist ever, Eminem, producer rapper.
Yeah, but he's,
His beats
everybody
ain't
knows
that good.
Yeah, everybody knows he's the rap god. Like,
Yeah.
he's not the beat god.
Yeah, he's had a couple that were okay, but they all sound alike to me personally.
The best beat I've ever heard Eminem produce was on an Obi Trice album, and it was Obi Trice, Eminem, and G Unit on the song.
I
think it's We All Die Someday, or some shit like that.
I don't recall that song, but I do recall a song. I think it's called 8 Mile on the 8 Mile soundtrack.
Okay.
That he produced.
Oh
And,
yeah, I know what song you're talking about. Yeah, that's actually
I
pretty
thought
dope.
that was a dope song.
Yeah.
To go to R&B very quickly, producer / rapper / singers. Shout out to Bruno Mars. Shout out to the legend and eternal Miss Lauryn Hill. Shout out to my personal favorite producer / rapper in the R&B realm and one of my favorite artists of all time, The Dream.
Yeah. I was gonna say him, but he's not necessarily a hip hop producer.
He produced for Fabulous and them. He's produced hip hop songs. He produced for Pusha.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
This next one will probably get some backlash and some heat, but if you are true to music, you cannot deny the genius of producer / performer that was R. Kelly.
Yeah. The guy was good at what he did.
Nah, he was the man at what he did, bro.
Yeah, like, it's unfortunate what happened to him because now
I'm sometimes torn.
It's not what happened; it's what he did to himself, fam.
Well,
Fucking
remember,
scumbag.
he
It didn't
was,
happen to him.
He was sexually abused as a child.
I get that, but
and that probably fucked him up and made him do some things that he shouldn't have done.
Okay,
so
again.
it did happen to him.
He's a scumbag.
All right,
But he's also a scumbag.
This guy makes a compelling argument.
He's a scumbag.
But he's
no
also
matter
a
what
legend, and he got eternal music. So, Blood, I totally feel you when you say you're torn. You don't exactly want to drive around pumping R. Kelly.
Nah,
Not at all. Not at all. But, just the classics,
But
you know,
yeah, he got some
just
songs.
the time frame.
I'll tell you. I'll
Still wanna hear
I'll
him.
ask y'all like this because we would hold on to R. Kelly because he's from our era. He came up when we were at our most formative years. You understand what I'm saying? Would he be that big to us? Like, would we hold on to him that tightly if he wasn't from our era? We'd probably be like,
not.
fuck that guy.
No, of course.
All right. That's all I'm just
I mean, I still say fuck that guy, no matter what, but it's undeniable the
brilliance.
fucking brilliance in the music that he had and just messages. Now you know, there's a lot of like spoofs about music that he put out that like, oh, he was trying to tell us something all along. But back then, like, come on, man, like all those songs were just part of you know, the zeitgeist. You know, it was part of hip hop.
And it was part of our soundtrack.
The culture.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. He's part of our like he was.
Of course, we're gonna protect our own.
Yeah.
But it's like,
the culture.
Who's gone to jail for murder?
C Murder.
Okay. Do you stop listening to C Murder because he killed somebody?
I never listened to C Murder.
All right. Who do you have? Shine.
Shine. Okay.
Shine went to jail for shooting up a club.
Okay.
Hitting innocent people.
Uh-huh.
We never stopped liking Shine. We never stopped.
That's a little different, though.
No, I know,
That's
but it's
you know, not involving kids.
Yeah, same thing with like drugs. Like, you know, there's
you and what you believe. There's probably some people out there that don't give a shit and they listen to R. Kelly every day.
Yeah, they're called
they're
pedophiles.
fucking scumbags.
They're scumbags. They're called pedophiles.
Fucking idiots.
It sucks that his catalog had to be canceled.
Look, I'm gonna keep it funky. Like, not only do
but it
I
sucks
find
what
it
he
hard
did
to
too.
listen
Don't
to R.
get
Kelly,
before you get hold on,
listen to Michael Jackson nowadays. Like, and you're talking about somebody that really shaped
but
my
Michael
childhood.
Jackson was exonerated.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter. I
That's
still
not the
find
same.
it difficult.
Oh,
It's not.
It's not. It's not the same, but I still find it difficult because if he did do what he did,
but the
you
people
know,
that
it's
said
like,
he
how
did
am I
it
listening
said
to
he
this
didn't
cat?
do
You
it.
feel me?
Yeah, exactly. The people that initially accused him now came back and recanted their story.
So
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to tell you is, for me and my personal decisions, I still find it difficult to listen to him sometimes. You know what I mean? Because of the
then you're doing what society does. You're doing what
can make your
society
own
does.
decisions.
You're
You can listen
holding
to
an accusation
whatever you want to listen
somebody.
to, and you can have your own opinion about whether or not he did those things. I'm just trying to tell you, in my personal opinion.
You're
That's how much of a strong point that I have in terms of this particular subject. You feel me? That's how I feel about it.
You're entitled to that. Yes, I understand that. But it's like Burnz just said. Now you're just doing what everybody else is doing. You're still holding him accountable for something he never did.
It's not what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, they are, because a lot of people were.
It has nothing to do with
to
anybody's opinion. It's my personal opinion.
Right.
But how are you holding on to an accusation that was proven false?
False. Yeah, exactly. That's
by the people who said that he did it. The same exact people that said he did something
that accused him
came out and said no, he never did that. So
again, it's my personal opinion, and it's my personal opinion and personal research and things that I've just stumbled upon that I'm like, yo, if it's possible or if it's true, yo, I find it hard. I can't explain it, my brothers.
So you think Kobe's a rapist?
I don't know. Like, again, I'm not sure.
The girl literally said he didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm not sure. Again, but Kobe.
How can you not be sure when she literally told you?
So you believe the accuser, but you don't believe the accuser when they recant their story.
Listen, again, we're gonna just go back and forth, on this particular subject.
That's what the show is about.
What I'm trying to tell you is that in this particular situation, Michael Jackson's situation, and the things that I've have listened to and have seen. Like, for example, that HBO documentary that came out on him, that kind of fucked me up. So it's hard for me to listen to his music, regardless if the accusers recanted, if he paid them off or didn't pay them off. It's just a situation.
So regardless if he did it or not,
it's repulsive to me.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
You are more than welcome to your opinion.
Yeah.
And
all the way
I'm
around.
Not here to disagree with you, but I find it surprising that
with the facts in your face. That you're still that you still have that strong opinion is my.
What facts are you talking about?
The fact that people that accused him came out and said, "Yo, he didn't do shit to us. We were bullshitting because we just wanted a payday." That's a fact.
Well, I don't know that. You're telling me that that's a fact, but where is that information?
It's on every news outlet. You send me that
information, and then I'll look at it I'll weigh my own opinion.
When I find it, I will send it to you.
Okay, all right, and you can watch the HBO doc and you tell me what you think about that.
That was made by people that were out there just to discredit.
Again, I don't know that. You feel me? You can say the same thing about R. Kelly. He got found guilty, but it could have been, you know what I'm saying? People out there trying to persecute him. So, whether or not he did it or not, I'm still gonna say, yo, I'm not really fucking with R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Just, it's a situation where, I don't know, man, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to explain that situation, and I got kids. You know? So
No, me too.
We all have
you
kids.
tell me drugs, you tell me murder, I'm still probably gonna fuck with the nigga. I'm like, well, you know, it is what it is. But when you talk about kids, I find it kind of difficult. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. We all got kids, man.
Yeah.
That don't mean we all gotta agree.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
I can't say shout out to R. Kelly, but shout out to the good times we had to R. Kelly music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to go back and listen to an R. Kelly album that is not necessarily raunchy or may not give you the creepy vibes, he did put out an album called Love Letter that is really a beautiful R&B album, full of great songs that are not sexually driven
That
or
came out like what,
exploited.
6-7 years ago, right?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Yeah,
There's even a part 2. Part 2 is not as good as part 1, but Love Letter by R. Kelly, the album, I'd recommend that. It's a good listen, and it's not necessarily gonna veer off into perversion land.
Pervertal land.
And my last honorable mention is gonna lead us right into the love song of the week.
Hey.
A very underappreciated and undercredited producer, probably because of who her partner is and who she has worked with. But producer, rapper Missy Elliott, definite legend, changed the sound, was one of the pioneers in the rap singy trend
Melodic,
that's going on.
Making,
I always thought she was dope. So she's actually the pick for the love song of the week. It's from her first album. The name of the song is Sock It To Me. It features The Brat. And that is M. Burnz' love song of the week for episode 89.
Season 4, baby.
Shout out to all the ladies. Shout out to all the wifeys out there. Shout out to all the moms and the daughters and the sisters, grandmas. Shout out to all the side pieces and the thotties.
Hey.
Shout out to all the girls that be showing their ass on the close friends on the IG stories. We appreciate that.
Let's.
Shout out to Timberland, baby.
Absolutely. Oh, we never mentioned Timberland.
'Cause he's a
Honorable mention
rapper.
Timberland.
Yeah, but he's a terrible rapper.
Let's
Let's be honest. I love the guy. The guy's a genius, but he's not a great rapper at all.
His production carries him.
Word. And Magoo.
Woo, Magoo, what? With a name like that, you cannot be whack. And he was.
Well, who?
I'm just saying.
I always thought this beat was super hard.
What? With the tweets in the back? Shit sounds
This is
dope.
hard, nigga.
Those horns, though.
Shout out to all the sneaky links.
Sneaky links.
Yeah. All the late night linkers.
Hey. All the late night rendezvous.
I'm not sound like Eric Snowden.
Sneaky links.
Shout out to all the girls who fly into Jersey for the weekend and then they leave on Monday.
Get shouts to them. Get the fuck out.
Shouts to Missy Elliott. That was the love song of the week. Sock It To Me off her debut album, Super Duper Fly.
Yeah, man.
Word up.
Shouts to all the producers we spoke about today. Shouts to
MCs.
everybody who got honorable mentions. Shouts to all the producer/rappers who've been up on our show. Shouts to all the producers/rappers who will be on our show.
That's right.
I think that's it, yo.
One more quick shout out. Shouts to Deetra out in VA, man. She pulled through. Surgery was a success.
Yes.
It's
That's up.
it's now a clear road to recovery.
There you go. Shouts to Deetra. Prayers up.
That's
Thoughts
right.
Any
up.
prayers to her. Word up.
That's right.
Fuck cancer as always.
Yup.
Shouts to anybody we've lost from cancer.
For real.
Special shout out and prayers and condolences to Trench God Mazi. He lost his mom this week, so prayers up
wow.
and thoughts to the family.
Praise
Our
up.
condolences and our love.
Praise up, Mozzie.
And I think that's it, yo.
Yay.
Y'all got any sign-offs?
You know what it is, man. LBE, MDMA all day, man. We here. Episode 89.
89.
Season 4.
Season 4.
We off to a good start, man. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Word up.
Big Blood.
Word up. You already know, man. Fuck cancer. Shout out to David Bars, too, who also lost his mom. Another Bronx representative, just like Trench God. It's fucked up. We all had people that we lost, especially myself, man. I had some real tight people in my family and in my world that I lost to cancer. So fuck cancer. Season 4, let's go. Illest fucking podcast in the world. Yo, big shout out to 2 producer rappers that hold a special place in my heart. 3, actually. I'm going to say VSOP.
Cheer.
Shout out to you, my brother. I'm going to say Nice One.
That's right.
And I'm
Another
say,
beast.
Thank you.
I'm going to say the God, Be Wise. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Shouts to Be Wise, man.
Yeah. Shouts to all of them, and shouts to me.
Okay. Shouts to you, my friend.
Thank you.
You needed that, right? You just got to insert yourself.
If we're talking producer rappers, there is no.
Shouts to you, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's all about you, isn't it?
Usually.
This guy.
Make sure you're following at GAHHD_podcast. Also, make sure if you have any show ideas, any debate ideas, you email us. GAHHDpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you're following at EFNR711. Make sure you're following at TheReal_VSOP. Make sure you're following at Deadass_Worldwide. Make sure you're following at Last Breath Entertainment. And make sure you're following at Callme_Joseph_ for all the cool shit. This has been episode 89 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. As always, chin up, chest out, carry yourself with honor, carry yourself with pride, and somebody hit my music. Ow!